Good morning, Christian. Oh, well, if you're not a Christian, good morning, heathen. Now that we got the bases covered, is it a good morning or is it a good night? I mean, really, have you had your coffee yet? Have you gotten things just right? Or are you still part of the night? Well, the day is at hand, and behold, the sun is arising. At least it should be. Now, maybe it could be if the smoke wasn't here, or the clouds weren't here, or maybe it wasn't as dark as it is, or it wasn't as early as it is, or you weren't driving as far as you're having to go. I don't know. Maybe you just haven't had your coffee yet. And that's what it's like on Tuesday, is that today is Tuesday for some, and if you're watching this on some other day, then it's not Tuesday. But you can still watch it, you can still hear it, you can still see it, you can still take a moment to grasp some of the truth that's being explained or being contained within this video or VidDevo for you to hear, to see, and to maybe turn it around, turn it upside down and get back on track, with God. So I pulled over on the side of the road because my wife yesterday said, "Hey, were you driving?" She says, "Oh, you're on the wrong side of because the videos, when they upload, they seem to flip sometimes." So she says, "So you're in the passenger seat?" And I said, "No, I'm in the driver's seat, but God's the one doing the driving." And that's kind of what, we need to think about today, is that if you've had your coffee, if you've had the things that you need this Tuesday to get going, then why are you slowing down? I mean, we understand that Monday Madness yesterday would drive you crazy because, after all, Monday is Monday meetings and business as usual. You got to get over the Sunday, kind of whatever you've done on Sunday, and hopefully you went to church for a little while. Speaking of which, usually on Tuesday I ask this question, particularly of people that are Christian. Do you remember what the pastor said on on Sunday? Today's Tuesday. If you can't remember, maybe you weren't paying enough attention, or maybe you've just gotten so tired that you don't put yourself into remembrance of the things that God has brought to you each day. Usually on a Sunday is the time that you want to have an opportunity to take in what you need for the week. Seriously. Most of you aren't going to get any more spiritual than that, is just show up once a week. Or you might do some religious things during the week, but you're probably not taking the time to remember or to study or to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Because most of the time you just want to get it over with. Pastor, he talked for hours, I remember that, but, there's some great songs. Yeah, it was great worship. Oh, worship was great. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, what did Jesus teach you? What did Jesus say to you? What did the Spirit of God convict you of? If he didn't convict you of anything, maybe you weren't hearing from God. So Tuesday is usually a day of remembrance for me. It's kind of a day to reflect on, hey, maybe I need to pay a little more attention to what I'm doing. Like if you're driving to work, maybe I need to pay more attention to slowing down, not speeding up. See, Tuesday is typically a day where people are like, okay, I'm in a hurry. I already know what I got to get done this week, and we got to get there. We got to get going. Well, if you got to get going, then you need to get up earlier. Because most of the time, Christians and heathen and people in general, they speed, they rush, they hurry. They are a hasty people. Matter of fact, God has a word for people that are in a hurry. They're hasty. God does not go anywhere except that he would take everyone else there too. Did you hear me, what I said by that? God doesn't go anywhere except that he would take everyone else there too. So think about that. What about the guy that doesn't have a ride to work? He walks or he catches a bus. So how long does it take him to get to work? What about the person in a wheelchair that is going to the same job you are? Maybe you work in a, kind of a office, and, you have one of those cubicles, and that person in a wheelchair has to take the time. You see, the children of Israel, when they were in the desert, only went as fast as the slowest and oldest person could go, because If we were in a desert, you would not be rushing in a hurry. Matter of fact, your car does not work really perfectly well when you hurry through a desert. You rush as fast as you can, the air blowing over the engine. That's hot air, man. Slow down. You don't need to go running 100 miles an hour through a desert place. And that's kind of what's happened in these latter days. End time things are speeding up. People are getting less and less patient and more hasty, more and more angry. As a matter of fact, you can look around, you can find a lot of angry people. Matter of fact, at a drop of a hat, you could say the wrong thing, Trump, and boy, you can see all kinds of people get ticked, one way or the other. But why? Frankly, in this election, it doesn't matter if Trump gets elected or not. Whether Trump gets elected, hey, God's still going to take him out sooner or later in 4 more years or whenever. God still is in control. It's not Trump in control. Trump likes to think he's in control, but he's not, literally. And the God of this world deceives people by making them think, especially Gentiles who love to exercise lordship over one another, as the Bible says, that if you're not Jewish, then you're Gentile. Or if you're acting like the world, you're Gentile. But anyways, the point being is that the God of this world is not God. It's Satan, and he likes to deceive and lie and make people think that they're more important than they are. And that's what happens a lot of times with Christians. They think they're more important than they are. No, God may just send you to go pick up cigarette butts in a parking lot. That's a thing from Romaine that I learned a long time ago, is that I humbled myself to start doing what Pastor Romaine used to do with young people that wanted to be in ministry. He says, go out to the parking lot, pick up cigarette butts, because people used to smoke before they went into church. Isn't it amazing that nowadays we still have people smoking, even though they know it's bad for them? We still have people sinning, even though they know it's bad for them. We even have people that are still not wearing masks, even though they know it's bad for them. We have people that are partying and are getting together and breathing on one another and slapping each other in the back and hugging, even though they know it's bad for them during the pandemic and COVID. And that's where you get belligerence from. You get it from being hasty. You're not thinking through what you should do. And that's sometimes what happens when you're driving. You're not thinking through what you should do. You're looking at your cell phone, like I'm looking at this cell phone while I'm recording. But I'm pulled over on the side of the road, which means that, yes, I understand it's a modern technology that you're using now and you're pretty much addicted to it, but that doesn't mean you drive down the road with it. Because modern technology also has where you could hook it up to your car and let your car talk and answer, basically by pushing a few buttons, and you could do it. But the point is that you should not be distracted, but rather you should be attracted to what you're doing. When you're driving, you should be paying attention to the other guy because he's probably not paying attention to you. Matter of fact, I got semis all around me. I got people that are hauling dirt left, right, and sideways, and they are not going to stop on a dime. They're going to run my butt over if I decided to hit the brakes. So do I speed up? Oh no, I slow down. Matter of fact, I go the speed limit and I don't go any faster. A lot of people don't understand that. The speed limit isn't a speed suggestion. It isn't something that says we can exceed it by 5 or 10. The speed limit is what says this is the limit of the speed you go. 35, 25. I mean, I'm pretty well known in my neighborhood for standing out in the middle of the street and telling people that are doing 35 down our street that, hey, speed limit is 25, slow down. Or I'll walk across in front of some speedster because the guy's going to slow down. It's in a residential neighborhood and you can see me far away and you'll slow down because otherwise you'll hit me. And I'm not worried about dying. I'm worried about, more so somebody killing somebody else in front of me. And I'm the Christian. And that's what it should be like for you. What are you? Are you an effect or affect? Do you effect change in your community of people that you deal with? Or are you affected by the community of people that are around you? Are you part of the peer pressure that is changing you into the image of the world? Or are you changing the world into the image of the Son? You see, you're either good or bad. You're either changing and rearranging the things that are around you simply by being in touch with God, or you're not. You're either a Christian or a heathen. You don't get the chance to be one or the other without being probably both at the same time. But the reality is either you're doing good or you're doing bad. And you know which one you are if you slow down. So today, putting you in remembrance, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about God hates hasty people. He hates sin, so he doesn't really hate the people per se, but he hates people that are hasty because they are taking what God might have said and running off without asking him what he meant or waiting for the fullness of what God is saying. I'm one of those people. Sometimes God say, go, and I go, okay, I'm gone, man. I've already got it all planned, figured out, and doing it. And then God says, not exactly what I meant. Oh, okay. Well, what did you mean? Well, after 5 or 10 years, oh, okay, I get it now. Well, you don't want to get it later. You want to get it now. You want to get it right. And that's sometimes what you need to apply in your life as you are learning to wake up, get going, and get on with God. Because if you take the time, 5, 10, 15 minutes max, which is, we're trying to keep this to 15. Yesterday was like maybe 10, I think. 15 minutes max, and we go and say, hey, you know what? Take a few minutes. It takes about 15 minutes to get to work no matter where you're going, and you could put this VidDevo on and it's Tuesday and it's September 15th, and it's 2020. You could set it down on the car seat, or someplace, that you have it hooked up, and you could listen and hopefully get a word from the Lord about what you should do and you could do and you would do if you were paying attention to him. And so that's why by the Spirit of God, I say to you, slow down, take your time, be made more aware of the fact that you haven't had your coffee yet, or you've had, on Tuesday, I don't think too many people have had too much coffee. Wednesday, yeah, maybe, and Monday, nah, Monday, they're just like, grumpy as all get out. But Tuesday, man, ain't no way that you've had too much coffee. But, get a sip of coffee, pull over side of the road, take 15 minutes, or before you, if you're waking up, hey, take 15 minutes to sit down with the coffee and listen. Read your Bible, read a devotional, read, Streams in the Desert, or read Utmost for His Highest, or Daily Light, or something. But get 5, 10, or 15 minutes alone outside of all these other distractions and attractions from the world and get one-on-one upward, not sideways. I don't want you today to find yourself sideways anywhere. I don't want you to find yourself downward in any way, shape, or form. I would rather that you look up and see that the salvation that you counted on is yours, and that even now you're more so a Christian than you are a heathen. You may not think you are because, you may be sinning, and caught in sin a lot. I don't know. I'm not there. Thank God. But dealing with it means that, guess what? God is still working on you. God still loves you. God is still blessing you. You're still going forward. So, being that our salvation is even closer than we thought, and Jesus is coming sooner than you think, today while it's Tuesday, today while you can, if you hear his voice, harden not your heart, open up, let go. Just say, hey, God, I am hasty. I'm always in a hurry. I need to slow down. Help me to slow down. Help me to be appreciative of the things that are around me and aware that there can be traps, struggles, trials, temptations, things that are not good for me right in front of me while I'm driving, right next to me as I'm getting out of the car going to work, right while I'm working and doing my job, or at home if I'm working at home. Let me be more aware of wearing my mask and putting on my gloves and not catching COVID, not catching from the pandemic something that could kill me, and being aware of my job and doing my job right so that I don't kill anyone else. Because really, you don't want blood on your hands, whether it be from not wearing your mask or whether it be from driving incorrectly and hitting someone and killing them, or whether it just simply be thinking in your mind that you hate someone. Because hate is the same as murder. So don't be hasty today. Slow down. Think about God now.